All right, let's connect it up here. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully the stream will be good. Season 9, episode 13, March 10th, coming at you. Just going a minute early. We're waiting for people to join us to talk about The Walking Dead, Season 9, Episode 13, Walking Dead comic show stuff. Who's coming, who's there on there too. What's up, Lincoln? What's up, everybody? Going to wait for people to join in for it. So I'm excited to talk about tonight's episode, and I've been excited about it since hearing about the potential fight of Beta and Daryl. So if you're watching it on replay, spoiler warning, if you're watching it real time. So trying to talk to a bunch of you guys. Thank you for joining me today, this Sunday, and really every Sunday that we do live streams. We'll be doing them for a while. And I think it's a great way to connect with everybody and have people ask questions. And I wish we could do it more, but time permitting, it's going to be there. So hopefully you're okay with the time change. Really, it's, an hour earlier, but we lost an hour, so we're 1 hour closer to The Walking Dead. And I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited about The Walking Dead tonight. Season 9, Episode 13, titled Choke Point. And it should be great. It should be big time. It should be a great thing setting up the fair. Episode 13, 14, 15, and 16. And then we're on break to October, which sucks. So thank you guys for joining me. If it's your first time, we have a lot of fun here. Just post your comments in the chat, and I'll get to them. Hopefully, I'll be able to answer a lot of questions. Super chats are always welcome. Donations go to the channel. They keep us going and growing for it. So I am excited for it. So I'm doing all right today. How's everybody? How's everybody joining? Got a lot of things to do today before The Walking Dead tonight. I finally had a chance to watch Talking Dead the other day, and I missed it the first time. I saw parts of it, but, the question came up about the book that Negan was reading, about it being a law book. And that was interesting because I think they're setting up some things potentially if Negan will run Alexandria or be part owner, runner, leader, whatever you want to call it, because Michonne eventually is leaving. Season 10 is going to be the last Michonne season, potentially. I don't know that much stuff about the movies. Fear the Walking Dead had their synopsis. I read that. Fear the Walking Dead Season 5 is underway filming right now. I believe they're at their mid-season filming of it, I believe, but I could be wrong. I know they were filming in a couple spots, and they saw, Alicia and a couple people too. So I'm excited for that epic zombie kill. That's not really a question, but that I'm rewatching Season 1 of The Walking Dead right now. Well, good. That's not a Q&A, but that's just a statement. Good job. So, yes, Mo to Influenza A. You excited for tonight? I'm excited. I'm excited for every episode of The Walking Dead, and I have been for a while because they're doing a great job. It's captivating. It's interesting. It's one of those things where you're like, man, I can't wait for this. When are they going to answer that? And as long as they answer it, I got no problems. I'm excited for the fight with Beta and Daryl. Supposedly, it's 3 pages long. So, not sure if that means a page on a script usually means a minute on the episode. So I don't know if it's 3 minutes long. That's kind of cool. But we're going to have Beta fighting Daryl. And I guess that's what we can have now because in the comics, it's Beta fights Negan. Are they going to fight? Hopefully Negan interacts with these people. I eventually want to see Negan get out of the jail cell, right? Because, what's Negan doing? He came out a little bit, and that was a good episode with him and Judith and going to the sanctuary on there, too. I know some people said that they would want to have the Whitey boy running the sanctuary, and I kind of do, too, because that would be kind of cool, because the sanctuary is kind of dead now. It's gone. It's probably going to be lost forever, and it's probably not coming around, which kind of sucks, because that's a whole different dynamic on the show of the Saviors. The Saviors are kind of mixed in with different groups, and we're going to see the really initial start of the fair. I guess it's the first day of the fair is going to be in this episode where, we'll see the groups. And we posted a couple pictures. There's going to be the Kingdom with Nabila and Carol talking. Diane and Jerry are going to interact with the Highwaymen. And we're going to meet the Highwaymen. And I don't know if anybody is in here that really told me about the Highwaymen, but we're going to meet them. And yes, they do exist. That's what the symbol is about. I know a lot of people were commenting about other channels, saying about the border and all this stuff, and that turns out to be wrong, you know? So props to the people who told me that and this channel, because it's pretty cool that we got some things right about it, and it's always fun to have conversation with that. So Janet, person, Q&A, Brian, with Eugene, Gabriel, and Rosita setting up the radio to try to communicate with other people, why didn't they make an effort to have radio contact with the Hilltop and the Kingdom? Shake my head. Yes, I agree. That's a great point, Janet. It's like, okay, there's this thing called radios, right? And Hilltop, you get a radio. Kingdom, you get a radio. Everybody, you get a radio. That's a good way to communicate, right? Why not do it? That cabin that Father Gabriel had was like loaded up with radios. Maybe they could have figured it out, but again, they don't do that. Not sure. Kind of a mistake, little plot hole. You could communicate with each other, right? But The Walking Dead has the thing like going to the movie projector and get a projector bulb and go to get this and go to get that. So the writing is setting up things, and it's not perfect, but I can be down with it. So it's kind of cool. That's a great point, though, Jen. I agree with that wholeheartedly, that every group should have been able to communicate, and especially if Aaron could communicate with Hilltop, since they were kind of doing it on the down low, that could have made sense, too. And Carol could have communicated with some people that wanted to do it. So I'm excited for it. I think that's little things that come up like that, like why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? And they're great points too. Like last week's episode with Alpha running the garrote around her neck was like, man, that was pretty strong. It just kind of ripped the head off, and you're like, okay, that's a little crazy. But that wouldn't happen, you know. It would be totally different for it. And where was the woman's vertebrae, her neck vertebrae, and just I don't know. But it was kind of funny, but it was kind of interesting. So I don't know what they're thinking sometimes, but overall, I thought the episode was really good. To see Alpha, Beta, the Whisperer camp, and I don't really like the idea that Alpha and them aren't really cooking. They're not really cooking their food. They're eating everything on the sushi style, tartar, you know, the raw. It's like, that ain't really good, you know? What are you doing there? So I guess they're nomadic, they're on the move, and that camp must smell great. But this week, we're going to get the Highwaymen. We're going to get the Alpha. No, I take it back. We're going to see Alpha. We're going to have Beta. We're going to have a lot of people fighting this episode. Whisperers are going to be taken out, but no one dies. I know a lot of people are worried about Connie. You have Connie, Beta, and the Ultimate Fan, which I guess is subjective, the Ultimate Fan for Talking Dead tonight. And I'm excited because I think Beta is a great casting for two reasons. He's a great Beta. He's a big dude. He's a great actor. But also, he brings people back to the show. I know some people haven't watched the show. They're like, Rick's gone, I'm gone, right? And I think that they, cast Ryan Hurst because he's great for it, but he also brings people back. People liked Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy, and they're like, Opie's on the show, man, I got to get back into this. So that's kind of interesting, too. So, yeah, Danielle, that's a good point. The dried jerky meat and some fruit and stuff like that, too. But, how good is that stuff? Let me see some of these questions that you guys asked. Julie Films TV, Q&A, do you think Dog is going to save Daryl from Beta and Beta kills Dog? No. I don't think so. That would be terrible. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see Dog getting killed off. We're going to see a Shiva statue at the Kingdom, though. But Beta is actually going to beat up Daryl pretty good. Daryl's going to try and get some licks in and try to slice and dice him. But I guess Beta has some bulletproof, slice and dice proof, some Kevlar lined clothing or a vest or something. So he's not getting to him. And then ultimately, we're going to see Beta fall down an elevator shaft. And takes me back to season 5. I don't know if it's going to happen that way exactly, but season 5 elevator shaft Beth, takes me there. I don't think Dog is in trouble. I think Dog will be okay. Seahawks Forever 12. Q&A, do you think we will get more of a comic Dwight in Fear the Walking Dead? I know Daryl was made before Dwight, but that doesn't mean Kirkman didn't think of Dwight before Daryl was made. That's true. And that's a good point. I think Dwighty Boy can be a big part of Fear, and I hope he is. I don't know if Sherry's going to be there or what. But that's a great point, bringing up, I don't know how Kirkman thought this. Did Kirkman think of the Whisperers as of season 3 of The Walking Dead and Morgan? Did he get that from that because they came back there? Well, I would think that Kirkman has like a writing ahead of schedule. Like he probably gives Charlie Adlard a script. He might give him so many months in advance. And he's got a bunch of projects and other comics and this and that. And maybe he came up with the Whispers because of season 3. Or maybe it has nothing to do with that at all. But the showrunner at the time, Glenn Mazzara, said it wasn't even in the know. They didn't think about it. That was just part of dialogue. It had nothing to do with the Whispers at the time. So that's what we go by. But Fear the Walking Dead could have more of a Dwight spin-off thing. But is Dwight going to really run the show? I mean, he runs the Saviors. But I don't know. What if Dwight runs kind of something? And Morgan's going to be the lead of Fear the Walking Dead. And that's a whole other conversation. But Morgan's going to be the lead. And what if Dwight kind of turns into the Whitey boy at the Commonwealth? You know what I'm talking about. And that could happen for sure. So, yeah. Mike 35. You can do that with piano wire or one of those survival saws. Like, yeah, but it's not just like pulls off like that. It would kind of be a saw, though, you know? And what I'm saying is that the person would have vertebrae and muscle and tendon and ligament and arteries. So it just kind of wouldn't look like that exactly. But it's a show. It's a zombie apocalypse show. And that's what we got. So tonight we're going to have Beta versus Daryl. And I'm excited. We're going to have some Highwayman introduction. We're going to have Seeing the Kingdom. And if you saw some of the pictures on Instagram, on Facebook, and there too, we're going to see 4 banners. You should have seen it from the video already that I posted about it, that you're going to see the Kingdom, Hilltop, Alexandria, and Oceanside. So I don't know if we're going to see Oceanside this episode, but we're going to see Oceanside at the fair. So there's some remaining people of Oceanside. I'm not sure if it's going to be Cindy or Rachel or this or that, but we're going to see some people there, so Oceanside is still around. Pretty cool. Also the fact that Daryl, they don't go back to Hilltop. They go to some abandoned building that Connie knows about. So Connie is bringing people there. I'm interested to know why they didn't want to bring back to the Hilltop, because they're like, well, Alpha's going to go there for revenge. Well, you want to warn Hilltop, though, a little bit, right? I mean, you got to do something. And ultimately, you're going to bring the fight to Alexandria now. If Daryl brings, Lydia, Henry, and Connie and Dog to Alexandria, now Hilltop is going to not be the only one that knows that the Whisperers know about. So if the Whisperers are going to know about Hilltop and Alexandria and then eventually the Kingdom, maybe they have spies and they find out about they went to the Kingdom and they follow Alexandria and whoever to the Kingdom, or they get it out. So there's been some rumors about Sadiq and this and that, and they may just be rumors. So when we share it with you guys, we don't know if it's true or not. So if it's not confirmed, it's not confirmed. There's just no way to do about it too. So Jason Scott, Q&A, you think Negan is connected with the Highwaymen? Here we go. We're getting the connections. Is Highwayman connected with the Saviors? Are they connected with the Whispers? Are they connected with Negan? Are they connected with this? I would assume that the Highwaymen are just their own group. They're kind of taking the control of the areas. They're kind of like pirates. They're kind of have the Savior mentality. Just like we thought, Jadis is connected with this and that. And nope, it was its own thing. Not everyone's a spy. Not everyone's this. So that's a great question. And we've been kind of getting questions like that too about the Highwaymen. Are they this? Are they that? And I think they're their own standalone group that we're going to meet some people. Supposedly the leader's name is Ozzy. And I made the joke about Ozzy Osbourne being on a crazy train. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know if Ozzy and Jerry are going to get along very well. So I don't know if the Highwaymen were just brought in to be a Pike lineup person. Like, what if Ozzy is just one of the people on the Pike lineup? I don't know. This is interesting for me to think about the future of it. But so far, I think Season 9 has been great. I think Season 9 has been very entertaining and just some great things with Alpha, Beta, the Whispers. And some people are liking it and some people aren't. Some people are like, the Whisperers aren't great. They're not this. They're not that. But I'm excited about it. I think it's great. I think it's very entertaining. I think the episode tonight can be very good. But I just hope that Daryl does not get all the great stuff from the comics for the show. And he's kind of getting that stuff. He gets to ride a motorcycle. He gets a badass outfit. He gets a rocket launcher. He gets this. He gets connected with Dwight and Negan and the Saviors and Rick and this, and the Whispers. And just so many things that he's connected with. And he's definitely one of those characters that I love on the show, but I just hope that they can give some parts to Carol and Michonne with Alpha. And people are asking me all the time, is Negan going to interact with Alpha, the comics, if you know what I'm talking about. But Negan's locked up in a jail cell, and I would assume that everything happens that causes, the conflict to rise up, everyone to come together. So if Alpha makes the Pike lineup, and Alpha does this, and Alpha interacts with either Carol, Daryl, or Michonne, then where's Negan been the whole time? Well, locked up in a jail cell. So eventually they kind of planted the seed that Michonne is going to need Negan's help. So Michonne is going to go to Alexandria, let him out of the jail cell, and then Negan's going to be part of the group. Does he just go run to Alpha then and be like, oh, look, ha ha ha, so told you I'm out of here? Because in the comic, he's let out by kind of a no-name Alexandrian named Brandon, and then he takes him to the Whispers. Alpha and Negan interact, and Negan, does his thing there and tries to win over some good graces with Alexandria. Does Negan eventually do that with Michonne, though? That could be kind of cool. Negan's got to do something big. I thought he would save Daryl in the Beta fight, but that's not going to happen. Negan is going to be locked up, and Daryl is going to have to fight Beta on his own. Really, Dog should help out, but the word is that Lydia and Dog are locked up in a closet because Lydia doesn't want to kill her own people, which I can understand that too. If you were a part of this group and then you left and you were forced to fight against your own group again, maybe you have some friends, maybe you have some people, maybe you like some of these people. You don't agree with the principles of things, but what if you like some of these people too, That's just crazy. So Krista Starling, hey, bro, I love your channel. Been here officially a year now. My question is why Daryl will never have a live interest. I don't think it's realistic that he would never be with anybody in the 7+ years. So I think you mean love interest, but thank you, Krista. 1 year, appreciate it. Thank you. Happy anniversary to the PT channel and the 1 year anniversary. But that's a great question. Daryl should have a love interest, right? People think it should be Carol. Some people think it should be Connie. And some people are pissed at Norman Reedus for even bringing that up, that he could have a love interest with Connie because they want Daryl and Carol to be together. And maybe they have the love interest, but it's not a love interest, a romantic love, kind of connection like that. It's just I care about you, you are my family member kind of thing, and it's not going to be romantic in nature. But will Daryl ever have a love interest? I don't know. I don't know if Norman Reedus wants to have that. He's kind of laughed it off, saying it would be really awkward if he did. So that's a good point, though. He should have had a love interest by now, and a lot of people think it should be Carol. What if the very end of the series, very, very end, is Michonne's gone away with Rick. This one's gone away. That one's dead. Ezekiel's gone. Here, this Whispers are gone. There's nothing happening. Negan is running Alexandria. Carol is at the Hilltop or Kingdom. She's running the Kingdom. Maggie or somebody's running Hilltop, and Daryl is still alive. Daryl is saved. Daryl does something heroic, and he's seeking, some sort of, treatment at Kingdom. And again, Ezekiel's gone. It's just Carol. Carol and Daryl have their first kiss on the show, and that's how it ends. That'd be crazy, right? I don't know. Would you want to see Daryl and Carol together? Some people say yes. I'm okay if it doesn't happen, but I'd be okay if it does as well. But I don't know. That's a great question, though, Krista. I'd be down if he had a love interest, but I don't think that. Some people think he should have been with Jesus or this should have happened or that, but I don't think so. I think Daryl is kind of the lone wolf kind of thing, and it's kind of better that he doesn't because a lot of ladies like Daryl, like a lot of ladies like Negan, and I don't know, it's kind of better for those characters, I guess, if they don't have a love interest. So I guess it could just be for the writing that he doesn't have, a love interest. But I see your point, and a lot of people want to have that too. So there's got to be some big, epic way to wrap it up. And it should not end in a way like, yeah, the world explodes, or the zombies took over and everybody dies. Because I think they want to have it where it gets rebooted at some point. Because The Walking Dead is great, but it can only last so long. Maybe we get 10 or 11, maybe 12 seasons at the most, and then they take a nice long break. Everybody's done with their contracts. They do this, they do that. They just stop. AMC still owns Riverwood or Riverwood Studio, whatever now, formerly Raleigh Studios. They take a break. They make a couple Walking Dead movies, they come back with it, and they reboot it. They have the Judith Grimes story. She's running things. There's a time jump. Daryl's gone or something like that too, and they have a couple of new characters or something that they bring in. A fresh new start. And I think people would watch again. But you don't have to have a reboot like it starts over again with Rick Grimes at the very beginning. Or it starts somewhere else, and it's a whole different story of that. You know? I don't know. I want to have The Walking Dead for a long, long time. Maybe taking a break is the best thing. And if you think about it too, some of the best seasons of shows, Breaking Bad, Sopranos, Game of Thrones, they have 6, 7, 8 seasons, you know, and they're not like seasons now where you have all this material. You kind of have some source material that you have to work with, right? But I don't know, 10 seasons that we're going to get for sure, maybe more than that, is a long time. It's a long, long time of a zombie show that probably never would have existed years ago. It never would and should have existed, I believe. But I'm glad it has, and I'm excited, and I think it's a great thing. And see, like Louis Martin wants, I want 16 at least. Donnie wants 15 seasons. Do you have that much material? What if they did like smaller seasons but spin-offs? You know, like the Commonwealth thing are on there too. And eventually these actors don't really want to be on there too much. And it's hot to film in Georgia and this, and eventually they're going to kill people off. You know, we're going to eventually lose some more people this season. We're going to lose people, whether it's Rosita, Ezekiel, Jerry, Nabila, Cal, Tammy Rose, Luke, Connie, you know, whoever, Tara, whoever you think it is, we're going to lose people. So we're going to lose some people, and how can you continue on if you lose too many actors? Who wants to keep going on there too? So, yeah, the never-ending story. The Walking Dead goes on forever. But we'll see how it goes. Julia Films TV. Q&A, how hard is Beta going to destroy Daryl? I think it's a good fight. Daryl gets his butt kicked for a lot of it, but Daryl doesn't go down easily without a fight. And then Daryl ends up actually winning the fight with the elevator. And then you're going to think Beta is dead, but dun dun dun. Nope, he's still alive. Janet, Q&A, Brian, why do you think Daryl, Connie, and company go to Alexandria after the Beta fight? I don't know exactly, but the word is that they go there because I guess they feel like people are going to follow them and they don't want to take it back to Hilltop. I guess. I mean, that doesn't make sense because you wouldn't want... But where are you going to go, right? Where are you going to go? Hilltop, Alexandria, or the Kingdom are the 3 communities. So they got to go somewhere, right? Because they need help. And maybe Alexandria is the closest. Maybe they went too far away to go back to Hilltop, and maybe they'll feel like they're going to run into them or for some reason. But I don't know. It's a great question. We'll have to wait and see how it's answered because I just don't know by the potential spoilers what may happen is that will it make sense or not? And I think so. I think it'll make sense for the writing because they've done a good job so far. I don't think there have been miscommunications for it on there too. So, Michael, it says theory, spoilers, and news. So I don't know why you're in here if you're worried about. Did you just spoil the Daryl Beta fight? I guess so. I don't know. Potentially how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying what the potential spoilers are, so we'll have to wait and see how they are with it. Yeah, Grey's Anatomy, March has been forever, and Big Bang Theory was whatever. But they're medical dramas show. Like ER was on forever on there too. This is a zombie apocalypse niche market show. You're not going to get 28 seasons. I mean, Supernatural is going on for far too long, in my opinion, but they made it to their 300th episode, and I think next season's their last, is what I'm hearing about it, too. So, Bailey Saxton, great question. Where do you see Lydia's story going? Well, if Henry survives, which he could, Lydia, Henry, Carl storyline will be there. If Henry dies, what's in store for Lydia? What should happen with Lydia? Lydia is a great question mark because I would assume that she'll be connected with Daryl as the father-daughter kind of, role, parental guidance kind of figure for looking out for Lydia, because Lydia lost her father, her loving father, and was raised by Alpha, who is cray-cray. Cray-cray Alpha is not something you want to have as a mother. Lydia clearly needs to get out of that. Lydia probably will stay at the hilltop. We'll see if it I mean, I bring up the question with Carl and Lydia. If Carl was on the show, do you think the people would hate Carl's decisions? Because Henry took that story, right? But Enid, Lydia, and Carl, that dynamic would be totally different because Enid would be connected with Carl, and if Carl was still alive, would he even care about Lydia like that? Because he's with Enid, right? So maybe their whole thing was, how are we going to do the Lydia situation if Enid is with Carl? That doesn't make sense, right? So did they really kill off Carl for that reason? I don't know, but it kind of is that's another love triangle then. If you got Carl, Enid, and Lydia, you got Father Gabriel, Ezekiel, Father Gabriel, Sadiq, and Rosita. That's another thing, right? So it's interesting. Shane, great question. Why didn't Alpha go after them? She probably sent Beta after them too. Hopefully it's, explained. I think Beta's friend, confidant, member of the Whisper, who got stabbed by Daryl. I think Daryl took the guy's poncho and the Whisperer mask. He stabbed him, and we're going to see him turn, the Whisper guy turn into a walker, and Beta is going to get pissed. So I think Beta goes after Daryl for that reason, or one of the reasons too. So we'll see what happens, why it is, but I would assume Alpha, what if Alpha's going towards the hilltop and Beta's going after Daryl? So that'd be kind of crazy to think. Beta's got to be doing something and Alpha's got to be doing another thing. I would assume that Alpha has her own plans and situation to take the group somewhere, and Beta takes a small group going after there too. So great questions here. Kawaii cute. What would you name the Whisperer baby? I would name her Sophia. That's a good question. I don't know what Tammy Rose and Earl are going to name the baby. I don't know if it's a boy or girl. I don't remember offhand, so that makes a big difference too. What if it's just named Baby? Like dog is dog and baby is baby. Or, I don't know. No, I don't know. Also, Earl it's a potential Earl may get, attacked by a zombie and then he gets saved. Also, the word is that Tara's group, you see Tara, Cal, Yumiko, Magna, some of the Tammy Rose, and Kelly, and a couple of people, they're going to the fair. And I believe the kingdom is where they're going, of course, and the highwaymen come and save them and rescue them. So that's interesting. And how many members are in the highwaymen? Is it the same group that run into Jerry and them? Because I don't know. Is it the 4 horsemen? The 4 horsemen of the highwaymen? The 4 highwaymen? Could be. I can't wait to find out. I'm super excited for tonight. 9 o'clock. Be there. Sunday it goes down. So I think that it should be a great episode. If you got to watch it tonight or tomorrow, I think it's going to be interesting to set up the first, the first part of the second half, because it's done. Because you have 9:09 to 9:12, and this is 9:13 to 9:16. So you have the first 4. This is the 5th episode of the back half, so it's got to really set up the final 4 episodes and 3 episodes. So I'm excited to see the Scar answer, which I believe will be the following week, not this week. Episode 914 is titled Scars. So I'm excited to see that answer too. What happens with Negan, Michonne, Daryl? I guess Daryl has to go back to Alexandria to talk to Michonne about the scars, and we got to find out about that. So that's why they ultimately go to Alexandria instead of Hilltop, to progress the story on there too. So let's see. Kang era Daryl Q&A. Carol and Michonne aren't having the fair and Negan storyline since they can't be out and about in season 10, because they're kind of why people can't have patience. So your question is, why can't people have patience? Because we are an instant society and everybody wants everything right now. So that's a bunch of word for Q&A. Big Sexy Q&A. If Coral was still alive, wouldn't he be a lot older than Lydia? If so, how would the relationship work between the two? Well, they could have had an older Carl and an older Lydia. Lydia could be a little bit older as well. But yes, the whole Chandler Riggs being older than Carl is in the storyline makes it complicated. So I guess that's what they did as well. The older Carl wouldn't work with this Lydia situation. So maybe that's what the thinking was by Scott Gimple, that they have to get rid of Carl because that's going to be too old. That's a great question, though. Great point, because if Carl is like 22 years old and Lydia is like 12, that's not going to work. So because Carl would be older if it was a 6-year time jump, right? I don't know, but Trilogy XO, there's only 5 Highwaymen. I don't know. That was what my question was. Is it 4 or 5 in a group? Are there a bunch of smaller groups on there too? So MKig Q&A, how and why is Laura part of the new council? Oh, and have you started writing book 10? Great question, M King. M King's my book guy. He likes my book series. Fight for Us is the book series. And yes, I started book 10. I'm on the initial early, super early draft. Rough draft. And I'm on chapter 5, I believe. I think I just wrote chapter 4. I finished chapter 4, 3 or 4, I forget, this morning. I had to write. I had the itch to start writing. I just wanted to get that stuff on paper, digital paper now. But I'm excited to see where the story goes, and hopefully you checked out book 9. I know M King did. I thought book 9 Settlement is one of my favorite books now, and one of the best books I've written for sure. And it's getting better and better and better. We have a better process for doing that too. A great question, M King. And why is Laura part of the new council? I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, I guess Michonne ran out of people to support her. So you got Sadiq, who was a new member kind of deal. That's a great question. I don't know why they would do that, but hopefully it'll make sense. Laura just did something there too, but a council is made up of people that maybe Laura was responsible for the Savior's point of view. Maybe she was the only one that she trusted, but then, I don't know, DJ's kind of the one that went with her, and DJ was a savior. So that's a great question there. I don't know the answer. That's an Angela Kang question answer, I guess. Jason Scott, Q&A, the Highwayman will eventually save us from the Whisperers. What do you think? Hopefully it makes sense why they brought them in. Hopefully it's not like a Jadis junkyard group that's like, why do you bring these people in? They talk and they're stupid. Hopefully the Highwaymen are a better group for the show. But where have they been all this time? I personally hope and think that they would be better connected with the X-Scars than anything. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. There we go. Carl's left eye is definitely one of those people that have been before and been blocked. Yeah, it's the same type of person, the form of how they write it. You hate Carl far too much. I don't hate Carl whatsoever. You have no idea. You don't have a clue then if you think I hate Carl. Get a clue. So you're losing followers because of it. Yeah. This guy is going to tell me what I'm doing and how it is on there too. And just the way the format's written, it's hilarious. But how their wording is and what their little highlighted stuff, it's the same person that gets blocked all the time. Julia Films, we are going to see Alpha or just Beta and a few Whispers. So do you think, I'm guessing that we're going to see Alpha? I don't think, there's been no word that we see Alpha this episode. So I think it's just Beta leading the charge for it. Let's see what we got for good questions on there. But let me just take a little break from the questions and the nonsense there from the people that just talk dumb stuff. Like people that just are here for not fun too. So yeah, I think so too, Shane Daly. I think I'm gaining followers and subscribers, and for people who want to be a part of this. So I'm excited. Jay Paras 34, Oceanside appears tonight apparently. Well, we just see the banner. We don't see anyone there. We're seeing the banner. So they're there somewhere. But I'm hoping that the last 4 episodes, 13, 14, 15, and 16, are good, if not great, setting up Season 10. And I think Season 10 is going to be the Whisperer War. And if you don't know about the Whisperer War, it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good in the comics. We're going to lose some people in the Whisperer War for sure. I think they set up some things with Beta, if he survives, of course. Potentially with Negan. I hope that Aaron, what did Aaron actually learn from Jesus? Has he been training with Jesus for years? Because remember when Jesus was killing the walker and he kicked the walker, and then Aaron stabbed him and said, I teach a kids class if you would like, and it was a joke. And that was season 9, episode 1. So maybe Aaron and Jesus, were training then, and then we had a 6-year time jump. So Aaron could be a pretty good martial artist. And what if Aaron is the one that actually fights Beta in the Whisper of War and he actually takes him out? I'm hoping that happens too. So, yeah, Mark's in his Q&A. I think it's horrible timing for the fair. Yeah, the fair is just kind of like thrown in there, right? Like you got the Whispers, you got Alpha, you got Beta, you got Lydia, you got, Daryl coming out of nowhere. You got the Highwaymen. You got kind of like people being around. It's like, what's going on with this fair? Did they try a fair previously a couple years ago? I'm hoping that they tried it because I guess they did. And Carol, recruited Michonne and Michonne shot it down and was like, nah, we're not there. We don't do that. We're on our own. They better answer that when the idea of the flashback better answer all those questions. I want to see about Oceanside. I want to see about Michonne's haircut. I want to see about the X scars. I want to see all that. So it could be a nice, episode to answer that. Not this week, but next week. So we'll see how it goes down. Yeah. The sneaker addict check mark. Dude, bring back when you say you don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about The Walking Dead. It's not gone. Just taking a hiatus for it for sure. But, one eyebrow, you don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about The Walking Dead for sure. No, it's going to come back around on there too. And we got some definitely ideas in the hopper going on in this dome right here. There's a lot going on. Sometimes I need to take a break from things because I got too much going on for sure. But like the book I'm trying to work on for book 10 is just when I think of things, I just got to get going. I got to get, when I start a project, I have to start it and then I got to finish it. I'm just very on there for sure. Kang Daryl. Q&A, you think Sadiq becomes the most hated character? Daryl did a mistake with Glenn, but Sadiq will sell his people. Well, we don't know if Sadiq actually does that. That's the rumor. It's a rumor. It's not a confirmed spoiler. It's a rumor that Sadiq does that. But if Sadiq does that, that's for sure. I mean, if Sadiq sells everybody out, that, lets the Whisperers know where the fair is and that people get killed, you can't like Sadiq really after that, right? I mean, that's just not a thing where you can do that. How's he going to make up for that? For sure, Yeah, R-Paras 34. I should wear an eye patch, make people believe you have one eye. I did it one time. I had like some galls or something on there too, but it's definitely tough. I can see where Chandler Riggs and even Seth Gilliam, it's tough when you close one eye, your depth perception is off and it's weird and you get headaches and stuff. It's just not a good thing to be wearing any more than it is. But, maybe I'll do that one day. Who knows? Melissa B, Q&A. I feel like they put a lot of pressure on themselves for the X-Scar story. That's not really a Q&A, Melissa, but I think they built it up, so it better live up to the hype. That's definitely a thing that they better do it. So, Krista Starling, super chat again. Do you think the Rick movies are a good idea? Him dying with family and some flashbacks would have been better than these movies. If you don't reunite Rick and Michonne, it would be a disappointment. Well, I think the movies are better than Rick dying. And the way they sold it and the way they did it and the way they portrayed it and the way they, kind of spun it, I thought Rick was going to die and I thought he was going to introduce the Whispers. I thought he would get stabbed and fall overboard, kind of like a Tara thing, fall into the water and do this, but that didn't happen. I think Rick being alive is better than him dying in the world of The Walking Dead for sure. I don't know. If you saw my recent video about Rick Grimes, wish this happened with Rick being connected with the Whisperers, I wish it happened for sure. But Rick Grimes in the Walking Dead universe still is a good idea. If the movies are good, it's a good branch extension of the Walking Dead universe. And the idea of Rick being connected with the show for never happening again sucks, but I'll take Rick being in the movies if it's done in the right way. Scott Gimple is connected with them. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. It's a great debate. We'll have to wait and see if the movies make sense, if they connect in a great thing. But I think so. I think they can be very exciting for us and something to look forward to too, because I don't know when they're going to start filming. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know who's going to be in it, but hopefully they connect Rick and Michonne. I hope Michonne, Daryl, and Judith go and meet Rick at some point. Does he go back to Fort Benning? That was just kind of a theory that I thought was good. And then people were like, well, Fort Benning fell. Well, you can take over a base again, you know. You can take over a military base at some point. All the walkers can leave too, you know. Ohio, Pittsburgh, D.C., aircraft carrier, they can do something. It can definitely be cool. I don't think going to Fear the Walking Dead makes sense, but you never know what they want to bring in. Janet Person Bride, do you think Negan will be out of his cell this season, or will we have to wait until next season? If it is, I think it's the very, very end of the season. I think it's the last episode when Negan gets out, because all the craziness won't happen, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's how they end the season. Maybe the winter storm blizzard comes, and Michonne lets Negan out and is like, "Come on, we need your help." Done. See you in October. That would be kind of cool. They have to do something to set it up. And if the fact that the Pike lineup is not the very, 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 very end of the season, that the kingdom goes to the hilltop, kingdom kind of gets left behind, that could be the end. But also, I think that it's pretty cool if Michonne lets Negan out, and then Negan can be part of season 10 with Alexandria and helping everybody out. I think that would actually be really cool. So, Trey House Party 83 wants to have a cure. I kind of don't want the cure aspect on this show. The whole thing was supposed to be The Walking Dead after, The Walking Dead was supposed to be the story after you saw the movie. Like if you saw, 28 days later, or you saw this, or you saw Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, you see there. What happens after? What happens they get to the island? What happens then? That's supposed to be the Walking Dead story. And I like that about it. I like that for sure. I think that it's a great way of making us vested in there. We saw one point, and we want to know these characters. We want to feel for these characters. We want to like some of these characters. We want to hate some of these characters and see where they go. So I don't want to see the cure aspect at all, really. I just want to see where they take it, the Rick connection point, and is it international? Is it not? There's so many what-if questions on there, too. So, fake news everywhere. One-Eye Bri should do voiceovers with that magnificent voice of his. Well, I appreciate it. I should. I want to do some. I'll do some voiceovers. What you got? I can do some impressions, too. No, I can do some stuff, have some fun with it. That's hopefully you guys are entertained. Are you not entertained? But hopefully we'll see Jerry tonight. And I don't want Jerry to die. I'd rather have Jerry live. Nabila and or Ezekiel can go. But I'll take Jerry over all of those for sure. Carol's going to live. Daryl's going to live. Michonne makes it to season 10 because Michonne's already got the contract for season 10. And what do you think about Maggie? When do you think Maggie comes back? Does she come in with some people from a new community? Maybe we get a new character from the new community that she was at. That would be kind of cool too. Maybe she comes in, saves the day in that weird van thing that Georgie had. They brought Georgie in for like an episode. They got to bring her back right in season 10. You got to see Georgie and the twins and Maggie and a couple other characters come in to save the day. Shane Daly, great question. Do you think Negan will get Lucille back? I don't know, because in the comics, I hate to bring up the comics, but I know that's what they go to. They go to the comics. In the comics, this happens, so we're going to do this. We're going to have this tangent to come around, but we're actually going to get to that point. Like, they're still doing the Pike lineup. We're still having the fair. We're still having the whispers. We're still having this. And we're still having that. Remember when everyone's like, they're going to skip the whispers, man. They're going right to the Commonwealth. Nope, that didn't happen. Oh, remember this happened? No, that's not how it works. But they go to the same way of it. They just makes it taking some tangents for some really big stuff. So I know that Lucille is kind of thrown to Negan during the Whisperer War, and he catches it, and then he smacks Beta with it, and then the fight continues on. I want to see that scene for sure. That better happen in season 10 if Negan fights Beta, and he's going to need the baseball bat to beat Beta for sure. So that would be kind of cool. Kang Aradaro Q&A, you think the Highwaymen will be Savior's replacement for Volume 28 and storm Alexandria and then moving to Alexandria and Negan leading them? I don't know. I don't think Negan's going to go against the group again. I don't think Negan's going to be in charge of another group and taking over like that. But he could overrun he could join to the Highwaymen, but Negan's not connected with them, in my point. Maybe they're rogue saviors and maybe that's what they were, or maybe they took that out, but maybe it's some lieutenant that was part of the Saviors, at some weird outpost that we never saw. But, I mean, they could do that. They could do it. I mean, we met trash people that had no connecting point whatsoever. And then they came in, took some stuff, kind of, kidnapped Father Gabriel. And now it's just for the show. I think the Highwaymen are just for the show. They don't have any connecting points with that. So we'll see. James Hillenbrand, when does your book 10 come out? The early thing I want to do is probably October. And that's probably want to do right before The Walking Dead comes back in October is what I'm going to shoot for. So I'm trying to write part of the pilot episode script too. I'm going to write probably parts of it. And then, see, I'm not going to write the whole thing because I don't want to give out too much of it. But I don't know. Ben Frick, the trash people were garbage. That's true. But so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to write I already started my prequel book series of the Fight For Us thing. So I want to go back. And I ultimately want to do what The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead and stuff were lacking, in my opinion. And I want to have a better opinion of those things. A better version of that. Have answers kind of there and really the start of it. Krista Starling, my super chat all-star today. Krista Starling. How will we get a reaction from Michonne and Daryl for the Pike reveal if they are at Alexandria? You have to be at the fair to see the heads, right? Well, you don't have to be at the fair to see the heads. You have to be at the fair to get picked. I believe the word is that Alpha and probably a couple Whispers infiltrate the fair. The word is that Alpha is wearing a red dress, maybe a wig, maybe something. Maybe she looks totally different. Again, Kingdom does not know about Alpha. They do not know about the Whispers. But Oceanside doesn't know. Alexandria doesn't know really besides Michonne and Aaron and a couple people. And if Michonne's not there, not everybody knows about the Whispers. Mainly the Kingdom don't at all. So the Whispers can get in. Alpha can get in. So the fair is going to be happening. Alpha is going to have probably kidnap some people. I don't think Beta would be there because Beta would stand out like a sore thumb and you got to kind of blend in a little bit. But maybe you don't know how the show version of it. And then they go to a field kind of around the Whisperer border of where their land is, where they were, where they are. I don't know how far it is from the fair and the Kingdom, but it's not at the fair. It's in a separate field that they come across Alpha, who has a machete that's dripping blood. Maybe it's the red-handled machete. I kind of hope it is. That would be pretty awesome and a nice kind of connection and callback. And that's when they go to a field and find the border kind of lineup of the Pikes. So you don't really want to be at the fair, actually, because if you're at the fair, you have a chance of dying. The word is that Michonne, Carol, and Daryl end up in the Whisperer camp at some point. Maybe they interact with Alpha. We don't know what happens exactly, but I would assume that Daryl goes to Alexandria at the end of the episode, and then next week's episode is talking about the scars and a couple things and a flashback, and then we're going to see the end of the episode going forward for episodes 15 and 16, where Daryl, where Michonne, probably Lydia, Connie, Dog, go to the Kingdom or towards the Kingdom, and maybe they get kidnapped by Alpha and the Whisperers, because if the word is that Henry doesn't make it, what happens? How does he happen? If he's with Daryl and Michonne, I would assume he's pretty safe. But he does get stabbed in tonight's episode, so we'll see if that's a fatal wound or how bad the wound is. Maybe Daryl has to go back to Alexandria because Henry is bleeding out, or maybe it's a small stab and he'll be okay. But they have to seek shelter, and maybe Alexandria is the same thing. So, see what you got here. What? Clippard Primex, what do you think of Beta's voice? It's so similar to Thanos. I like that. I don't know if it's similar to Thanos. Thanos actually talks deeper and he has more dialogue. Beta says a couple words. He doesn't really say much. And I don't know why they gave him gold teeth, but he's got gold teeth. A couple different gold teeth. And he doesn't really open his mouth much. And he says, we got to be ready. We got to be ready. I'm Daryl. I'm Whisperer Daryl. Be ready. He doesn't really open his mouth much, but I can see what it goes there. But Mike 35, you need military info, let me know. I definitely will be in touch if I need something, Mike 35, but I definitely like the idea of getting some info there too. I found some stuff online that I can roughly use for just general ideas. I don't want to take anything specifically, but it's on there as well. So Michael Quest, you can leave if you said quit spoiling the episode. It does say second half discussion, theory, spoilers, and news. So spoilers is in the title of it. So I don't know why you're here if you're complaining, but that's what people love to do, is to complain. I have not seen Captain Marvel yet. I'm going to probably wait a couple weeks when it gets closer to Endgame, April 26th. And it's just crazy when Captain Marvel came out Thursday night, Friday, and then they're like, what did the after credits scene mean? What does this happen? What is that? It's like the movie came out like hours ago. Like, stop breaking down 63 Easter eggs and all this stuff. It was out days ago too. It's just crazy with it. I don't know, but I'm gonna wait to see it. YOLO Money says, I have Save Your Money. Well, I got to see it because it kind of connects the next episode in the movie to Endgame a little bit. Captain Marvel's in it, so I want to see. But I got to see it. I got to see Nick Fury. Got to see a couple people in there. Goose, the cat. Janet Person, Brian, we know we're going to see some snow. Maybe it'll already be snowing when the Pike lineup is revealed. Thoughts? I think it'll already be on the ground in episode 15. I think it'll be right because it was during filming. There was there too. So we'll see snow in probably episodes 15 and or 16. But winter is coming on The Walking Dead for sure. So, yeah, so Lil Chi, Ryan Hurst thought Beta would like some gold teeth. So I like the fact that Ryan Hurst had the ability to play with his character a little bit, his wardrobe a little bit, his Easter eggs in his outfit. And some people are like, is that Rick's belt? Is that Negan's scarf? Is that Jesus's or the governor's jacket or Negan's jacket? Is it, Glenn's t-shirt? Is it this? Is it that? Maybe we'll get some answers. I gave my take on the Beta Easter eggs, but it's definitely a red scarf, like is a connection to Negan. It's a long trench coat, a leather trench coat. That's what Negan, that's what Jesus wore. Negan had a shorter one. The governor had a short coat. So it's not the same there. Some people are saying Glenn's shirt is connected with the Have a Nice Day. I don't really know about that, but it's kind of cool to see some Easter eggs, and I'm glad that Ryan Hurst had a lot of say on his wardrobe and the character, because that's what you want. You want to take ownership of it. I like the idea of it, and I would want to have little things and little differences for the show on there too, and I think they've been pretty good. So, man, some people are hating on Captain Marvel, and I haven't seen it, so I can't weigh in, but I know a lot of people are liking it. A lot of people love it. Some people hate it. Some people hated it before it started, so I don't know what to take it with a grain of salt, but you got to see it because it connects Endgame, and, Captain Marvel's going to be in there, so you have to see it. So, can you answer this question? Where is Oceanside? Oceanside is at Oceanside. Oceanside, no, Oceanside, I believe, is at the fair, and hopefully we see some of those, so I want to see how it goes down for sure. Can't believe Rick hadn't go back to anyone. He hadn't got back to anyone in 6+ years. They better have an excellent realistic excuse. Well, I think it's connected with the radio. I think Rick is somewhere that he can't escape to, right? I think the group that he's with, the community he's with, the new area he's with is not going to let him leave. And I just feel like Rick, the radio was just boosted, amplified, had a new relay for episode 907, 906, 907, 908. It should have been up and running, right? It should be good to go. So I would assume that the amplification of the signal is there, so they'll be able to reach farther, further, faster, longer, whatever, be able to get around for it. So I think that the radio signal will play a big factor. Maybe that's how the season ends, with someone in the radio like, hello, hello. What if they were like, hey, dumbass, you there? Cozy in there? What if they pull a Glenn back on the radio? Come on, Angela Kang, give it to us. I want to see that. Call back to Glenn on the radio at some point. Cozy in there? That'd be great. Come on, you can do it. It's not that hard. But I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and I'm going to call it on today. I'm excited for tonight's episode, 913. It should be good. It should be exciting. We're going to have Daryl versus Beta. We're going to have Henry getting stabbed. We're going to have, some stuff happen in this episode tonight. And then they're probably going to end up going to Alexandria. Maybe they make it. Maybe they're just trying to go there too. Tara and her group will be going towards the fair. We're going to see the highwaymen, the kingdom. We are the highwaymen. Here's our ransom of deeds. All the roads will be closed. People will be turned away. But why don't the highwaymen just take from the people going to their fair? Why don't they just go after the people there? Why don't they just go after Tara and the group that are bringing the stuff towards the fair? Pay the toll to get in that way too. So, I don't know. Clifford Primex, do you think the flashback scene with Michonne swinging the sword is that an older fair? I don't know. That's a great question. I think that it's connected with Oceanside, just where it was. I just think it's right around when Rick initially went away. I think it's there too. Nick Stevens, tacos or burritos? That's a great question. I mean, both are great. How about a taco and then a burrito and then another taco and then another burrito? How about that? No, I like burritos. I'll take a Moe's burritos. I'm a Moe's guy. Some people like Chipotle, but I'm a Moe's guy for sure. Janet's going to be out of town next Sunday. Oh, well, you'll be missed as well. Xmas Girl 304. What? Q&A. What do you feel will be the sci-fi element for the Grimes trilogy that Gimple suggested will be presented? That's a great question. I don't know what Gimple wants to do. Gimple's like the wild card. He's like, where are you going? What are you doing? Are you trying to work on curing it? Are you trying to work on this? I just don't know. Sci-fi element is kind of crazy because it's just one of those things like this is kind of sci-fi right now. Zombie apocalypse is kind of science fiction, horror, zombie, it's got a lot of things going on. But I don't know. That's a great question, Xmas Girl 304. Once we find out more information about what Gimple is saying about the movies, hopefully they have a script. Hopefully we're good on there too. Boy, Little Caesars or Pizza Hut? I don't know. If you're going quick and cheap, you're going Little Caesars all day. Pizza Hut's okay. They're two totally different things. But probably on the run, maybe a Little Caesars deep dish. That's all right. But I don't. Yeah, Moe's Joey bag of donuts. That's what I get too. I get a Joey. I get a Joey beef as well from Moe's, and that would be tough if you were in a zombie apocalypse, right? And so say you're in a zombie apocalypse, there's no power, the world is shut down, and you're just driving down roads, or you're on a horse, or you're on a bike, or you're walking, or whatever, and you're like, man, I could go for some Chick-fil-A right now. But it's Sunday, so they're closed, right? No, I'm just kidding. But it's a zombie apocalypse, so you're like, that's what you would miss the most, right? Is food, fast food, certain creature comforts like Wendy's or Pizza Hut or Chick-fil-A or Domino's or I don't know, whatever, Moe's or McDonald's, Burger King. You'd be like, oh man, I just want a burger right now. Like it's just killing me. That would be one of the hardest things, I think. Along with air conditioning, along with stuff that, man, everyone's got all these like cute, is it Subway or Jimmy John's? Ah, man, they're both bad, Mark. Jimmy John's and Subway, I'll pass on those for sure, on either of those too. So, XXD3V sub, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope all you guys are subs, And I know that there's a lot of stuff going around about this channel, that channel, this channel's better, that channel's better. Well, we all bring something different to the table. YOLO money, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. What if you started your own in a zombie apocalypse, YOLO money, and you kind of had that as like, all right, you're running a place like that in a zombie apocalypse. That would be crazy, right? But we all bring a lot of things to the table. We have a lot of fun is what I try to do. And yeah, I don't get along with some people of different channels, but I don't care. I'm a positive person. I'm going to bring positive things to the life and have a good time with it. Some people take spoilers from other channels and don't credit them. Some people post things that aren't confirmed. Some people are wrong. Some people have good theories. Some people are this. Some people do a great job. And we try to have a lot of fun here. So at the end of the day, we're all for The Walking Dead, and we're one big part of The Walking Dead family. Now, we're not all going to get along. Not everybody gets along in the family. But at the end of the day, we're here for a good time. And that's just what I'm here for. So I ain't got time for BS and people being rude, inconsiderate, and disrespectful. That's for sure. So let me answer a couple more questions, and I'll answer them. Janet Person, as always. Q&A, Brian. What do you think about some side of Katana's action? I'm sorry, let me start over. What do you think about some side-by-side Katana action with Judith and Michonne? I would love to see that. And let me actually say this one thing. When I met Kaylee Fleming recently, I had a picture with her, and she's like 4 feet tall, and I'm 6'1". So I was like, how are we going to do this picture? So I went down on the knee, and I got close to her, and she was really sweet, really awesome. And I talked to her for like a couple seconds, and I said, hey, Kaylee, I really hope you get to swing that katana this season. And she gave me this face like, I can't say anything, but maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, and I hope it does. But she was so sweet, and then I said, I hope you're on the show for a long time. And she said, me too, and then gave me a high five, and then, I left to pick up my picture. But she was like the sweetest girl I've ever met, little girl. She's, 11 years old, and she was really sweet, really captivating, and I can see why she got cast as Judith and young Ray, and hopefully she's in many more movies on there too. So on there for a while. I'm excited for a bunch of things going forward, guys, but I'm going to cut it there because that's my hour, and I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. It's coming in a couple hours. Beta versus Daryl. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. Talking Dead, Connie, Beta, and the Ultimate Fan, even though we're all kind of considered the Ultimate Fans, right? So let me know your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you, Krista Starling, for being my Super Chat All-Star. You are definitely awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All my Patreon peeps, my people who donate to the channel, and also whoever does the Super Chat, live chat, all that stuff. I appreciate it. Sorry, guys, I got to get out of here. But Book 10, I got to be out later this year, titled Fight for Us. That's Ghosts. I'm excited for it. And hopefully you'll check out the series. If not, just definitely check out Amazon.com and type Fight, the number 4 US. So let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, and making memories. Enjoy tonight's episode. I'll be back next Sunday. I'll be doing reviews, breakdowns, Easter eggs, all the stuff we saw. And enjoy the episode tonight, guys. See ya.